So, welcome everyone to Thursdays with Franco, where we talk things Apex and autonomous and how we can do more with data and have a bit of fun doing it. So, Jason today has actually got a recent set of fun and frivolity that he's actually been kicking off. So, Jason, do you want to talk to us a little bit about it?
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks, Franco. So a couple of weeks back in Brisbane, we attended as a sponsor to the IT Leadership Summit. So primarily focused at a lot of the attendees were C-suite attendees. And one of the things I was there with a few of the other Oracle colleagues, and we had the F1 simulator there. And off the back of that, we actually had that back in the office. So because we had it in the office, then I had the opportunity to grab a couple of laps around the on the F1 sim. So I was going to use that as part of the Thursdays with Franco today.
Okay, sounds good. So you've got this data sitting somewhere, and you're going to show us how we can bring that data a bit more to life.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, so what I'll do initially is I'll come into Apex and sorry, I just need to just stop the share for a bit so I can show you the data itself as well. So let me do that. So I've actually got a couple of these things in terms of, so I've just changed the names, but I've just got myself, yourself, put some times against Stuart and times against Lynn. So each of these are individual times that we've ran around the track. We've also got a different data set, which we've got here, which is all the lap data. So
Yeah.
the specific lap time, how much time is per sector. So there's 3 different sectors on the track. We've then got this session ID, which we link back to the drivers and the fact that we're driving around the Melbourne track. So let me just quickly go into Apex and let's start off actually loading the leaderboard data first. So I'll come into the data workshop, and I think we saw this last week as well, right? When we were doing the Thursday with Franco. So I'll load up the leaders and get that up and going first.
So you're loading up 2 CSV files. One is the actual who's done what sessions, and then the particular lap data. So we've got 2 there, and you've got it as a comma separated file. I do, just to let everyone know on the call, that if you actually have got an XLS, this interface will be smart enough to actually ask you which worksheet or tab do you want to load. Here today, we've just got this separated CSV file.
Yeah. So at each point, you can then reconfigure the different columns to be different data types as we go through. It does actually create a introspect into the data to figure out the best suited data type in there. So it does that as part of the process.
That's great.
So let me just load the data in, and how many laps? So we got 31 laps in here across everyone. So let me just create the app. So I'll just use the standard template where I get my homepage, dashboard, the faceted search, and the interactive report. I could actually put some of these other ones in, but I'll leave that blank for the moment. So from here, what I'll do, we'll just bring up the app so you can get a better gauge as far as what that data looks like. So it's created all these pages here, and I'll hit the run so we can just log in, and I'll just let you know, this is actually running on the apex.oracle.com. So anyone that wants to register for Workspace, they can.
That's right. This is one of those brilliant free capabilities that you can have for as long as you want, as long as you keep using it.
Yep. So we've got the different lap times. So it's actually generated the lap time, different sectors, sector 1, sector 2, sector 3 as part of the dashboard automatically. And then at the moment, because it's now actually then done your faceted search around the different, these are all in milliseconds. So so I can then say, okay, well, give me the ones that are less than a minute and a half. So here we've actually got one that is 1 minute 27 seconds. So I know we've actually gone faster. Stuart's actually done 1:24. So we can always do better.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the main
I reckon he's doctored the figures there actually.
let's not go. I'm not going to go there, Franco. We'll leave that up to you. But one of the things that we've done here, we've only just imported one of those CSV files. And I think one of the things that is very typical is that you start somewhere, but you need to extend, you need to enrich it with other sources of data. So that's where what I'll do is I will come back to the SQL workshop, and from here I'll load in the second CSV file, which is the one with all the different names that we've got on there. So let me just do that. I've actually called it F1 Sim registrations. So every time, as part of their experience, every time that you drive through the game, it creates a new session. So what we've actually got when we're doing this with customers, we've got a separate Apex application that has some details similar to Jason and Franco, like on screen, and then we create a relationship in Apex to your session, which then means that when we've got the leaderboard up on screen, you actually see your name up in lights next to your time. Cool. So let me put this as a different F1 Sim regos as that, and load that data. So there's 16 records, which means there's 16 sessions that we're mapping to. Now, for me to actually extend this, I think the one thing that I like, and I've done this with other people for other scenarios where I've got one spreadsheet and I need to correlate with another spreadsheet of data and pretty much do a join and correlate those things together. So if you're not familiar with Excel pivot tables or some of these Power Queries and all you just want to do to join these things together, what we've found is I've actually come into here with the query builder, which allows us to look at multiple of these tables to create these relationships. So if I've got F1 Sims leaders, so that's all with our times, so we can see that all there. And then I've got these registrations here. Yep.
So query builder, this actually sits inside Oracle Apex. Can you just show me where you can find it again? So it's under SQL Workshops, under Utilities, and under Query Builder. Well, there you go. And this actually, because I'm an old-time Oracle guy, this looks like one of those products we used to have at Oracle called Data Browser.
Yep. Yeah.
It's going back.
Way before my time, Franco. Way before my time. I was still at primary school when that happened. So
I think there'd be a few other people on this call that would remember Data Browser. So I'll let you keep going. This is really cool.
Yeah. So now I can then just select which columns or which fields I want. So if I click on that, then they'll pick up everything there. But then all I want to do is just pick up the name. Now, what it will do at the moment, there's no relationship that I've got between these tables. But I do know that if I select on session here, then there's a relationship between those two. And it creates pretty much a join between those. And if I look at the results, then this is my new table of data for that. and I can scroll through that and I can see what those things look like. And then the nice thing that I like about this is here's an SQL statement which replicates that. So I'm just going to take a copy for that because I'm actually going to use that. Because if we think about when I'm back in the Apex application here, then if I've got pre-built, if I want to enrich the data and use not just my leader data, but also the registration data, then somehow I need to create a query to bring those two tables together.
That's great.
So what I'll do is go back to my application here and edit that. So I'm going to create a new, let's say, I'll create a new interactive report. I'll create one of those. And I'll give it a name being Rego, enrich. And then from there, I've got this option. Instead of just picking a table, I'll use an SQL query.
Yeah. Which
I can then just, well, sorry, let's drop. I grabbed something else at that point in time. So let me just come out of that for a moment.
Yeah.
And make sure and go back into the query builder and quickly do that again.
Well, it wouldn't hurt us to see it again.
So I've got my query, I got my name. I come down here, so here's the two thing. There's my join. That's my query. And then let's just grab all of that and copy it.
Now, before you do anything else, can you right mouse click on your tab there and just duplicate your Apex window up top there a couple of times?
Okay. Yeah.
Where is this query builder up there? That's it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So it saves you, means you can go back quickly and easily.
Yep. No, that's cool. Thanks, Franco. So let's go in here and then let's create a new page and a report. Change the query over to SQL query.
Bingo.
There's the query, and I create the page. Oh, I do need a new name. So enrich. So now, if I go back to my app, I got my new page, and now I've got my enriched with my name.
So can you just plug in Franco there in the Go button? Cool. And if I wanted to show off, is there a way I can, grab a spreadsheet output of this?
Yeah, so as part of the standard functionality for this is actually now download that same sheet as a CSV, as an Excel spreadsheet. So this is one of those things I've used in other scenarios where you get this continuous nature around these Excel spreadsheets, but you've got this common join around these reports. So as long as you load the data in and refresh the data, then you can come back in here and then actually then download the CSVs and download the data, and it's already been transformed for you. So
that's great.
In some ways, you without actually doing any SQL or any of that kind of tech logic, you've turned yourself into a data engineer.
That's a really good way of putting it, a data engineer. And Apex gives you all of these really, I'd even say non-technical tools so you can focus on getting closer to your data and making it more useful. That's really good.
Yeah, so this technique I've used several times for different parts of people within the Oracle business where they've had to work with, whether it be some event data or had to actually work with some of these other parts of the business where we did need to use a similar technique. So gives people very much an opportunity to work with the data without actually getting technical, so to speak.
Hey, and the thing which you've done today is you've really highlighted Query Builder, which is one of those little secrets that we don't tend to see, and it's the area where you can do a few things. So you've actually highlighted a couple of those things, but I noticed there are conditions, and obviously the results and things like that. So if you're someone who's got a bunch of things that you're trying to do, this is probably a good place to actually start to build up your little repository of these, and you can then save these as you get data coming to you each week.
Yeah, so either saving the query or saving it as a interactive report, then all you're doing is then loading the data in, and then whatever you're doing, those transforms have been already done for you, and just grab the data the way you need it.
Cool. Hey, so grab that SQL statement again for me.
Yep.
And just go, Control A or whatever it is, Control C. And if you could just now open up another window and just show folks the SQL window that's there.
So the SQL commands?
That's it. And just show how this is a great little place where you can do stuff in here as well.
So by running that, then you do get the results that you come through. You can still do a download at that point of what they call a report. So you get that data set as a CSV file, or so you can actually extract that out. The other bit that I really like here is the fact that you get these different histories. So you've seen that I've done this a few different times, just a few hours ago, just to prepare for this session. So those things from a usability perspective makes it very simple and very effective to make sure that you can go as quickly as you can.
So what's interesting is I know there's a few organizations that do they call it a data masterclass to help their executives that are normally not technical. They get their executives to bring their favorite pieces of data, which tend to be in spreadsheets, obviously, and they have a little bit of an experience doing something similar to what you've just done here. And obviously loading the data, doing the default application that gives you that little dashboard, the little faceted search, and then come to Query Builder to help them see what's possible, and then being able to keep a record of your SQL statements and those sorts of things just helps you get closer to your data and work out, what does make sense for my organization. Do we need some more apps to share information? Do we need APIs and those sorts of things?
Yep, and this Apex workspace is the same place I did the API demo a few weeks ago. So with all the driver details, so loading the driver in, and also then from there be able to expose them as APIs for someone to develop against. So I think what we're showing here is definitely this blend of a hybrid approach around. You don't have to be technical to use technology to get to those outcomes, and also means that, but because you are then using this kind of style of approach, it means that you can get closer to the data and understanding from a business perspective as well as the data perspective, how do you draw that lineage and how do you actually make that impact in the data and drive that business with data, which is the whole reason why we're doing the F1 Sim.
That's great. That's great. And we can always have a bit of fun with that data. And the other thing that's really cool and positive around Apex as a platform, it's one of those technologies that Oracle makes available anywhere you want it. So if you've got an on-premise database, you've got as much Apex as you want. If you've got a cloud database running in our cloud, it's available there. If you've got autonomous, it's really nothing more than a button click. And then as you've actually shown, hey, I'm not really sure if I want it or need it, so let's just go to apex.oracle.com. It's available anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So plenty of different options there to actually get in there and work with the data, but also share the data with the different people. Once instead of sending spreadsheets around on emails or different shared drives, and then have the data all in one place where you can actually have that online and interactive experience.
That's it. And then just send out your URLs, and people can start accessing it with security and as a single source of truth. Hey, Jason, thank you for the session today.